Well, we're recording this on a Saturday. I don't even know what day it is, but apparently my phone says Saturday. Another episode of View from the Hazards. I think this is episode 9. Ben's here
Correct.
again. Oh, wonderful! Just brightening everyone's day. We hope. So, Ben, what's on? What's been going on in your life in these tough times?
Well, it won't surprise you to hear that I've basically been staying indoors, as
Oh,
I'm
fair,
sure,
fair.
as I'm sure everybody else is.
Yeah,
But
good. Don't be selfish.
I've got myself quite a nice little routine set up. I have to say,
Nice.
I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah, it's not the worst, is it? It
Like,
could be worse.
no, I'm quite enjoying it, and I think I was talking to somebody the other day. I think the people that are going to struggle are if you just don't function on routine, or you just don't have much discipline, you're going to just melt and crash and burn.
Yeah,
Whereas
so true.
I've got quite a nice little routine, so I'll kind of wake up. Obviously, I've just got a puppy now, so I kind of do a bit of time with the dog first thing in the morning, breakfast, coffee, sit down, play a bit of Championship Manager. That's
Nice.
always going to happen. And then normally around the kind of lunchtime block, I go out into the garden, do a workout, or go for a run or something, and then back, lunch, big stretch, chill out for a bit in the afternoon, and then by that point, Sally's finished work and it's kind of evening time. So seems to be passing quite nicely. How about you?
That is true. To be fair, the time's gone by quite quickly for me. I've still got like loads of uni work to do, like quite a few essays. I've not even. Well, I need to start my dissertation really. So like, I've got basically work from now until the first week of May, second week of May. So I mean, I'm pretty much the same, just in this routine where get up early, just do work all day, and then maybe like after dinner do some workouts, and then just chill on your phone for a bit. So I mean, I don't really notice the
Are you
difference.
are you so going, like we were talking about the end of your course the other day,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how
we
it's
were.
going to just going to kind of average you out, as it were.
Yeah.
So no exams or anything.
Well,
So
we got a development on that yesterday actually. So they're basically
all
gonna
right.
they're gonna take like the best 2/3 of your degree marks, if that makes sense. So
Oh my
I've
God, what? So you can. So it's like hang on. Oh, they do that in sport somewhere where you do something like 7 times or something, and they take the like 5 best or something.
it's like gymnastics, isn't it? Like the marks.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
ditch like the 2 worst scores.
Well, I think that's going to happen, or it's going to be like you have to do like some extra assessments or something. I'm not really sure. I'll find out next week for sure, but I'm not really that asked. It's something to do in isolation, so just got to try your
So
best.
these essays that you're having to do now, and like
Yeah.
start and finish, and they're obviously going to contribute to your overall grade, right?
Oh yeah, big time. These were set before Corona happened, so I've just got to finish them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it keeps the mind working. I guess it's like having a 9 till 5 job. So I'm not really that. Again, it's better than just watching Netflix, which I know a lot of people are doing.
Dolly
Um,
Parton.
oh yeah, 9 till 5 work. Yeah, I was quite quick on that actually. Surprising.
Yeah. I was actually thinking after the Take That debacle
Oh
last
shit,
time.
yeah.
I was like, God, is he going to get that, or am I going to
No,
literally
no,
walk around with pie on my face again?
no, not at all, not at all. But no, just getting the curls in, growing a bit of a beard. So hopefully, when I come out of isolation, I'll look like Gerard Butler, uh, like
Oh, do
Leonidas.
you know what I did actually? You told me to look at Twitter yesterday, and then I obviously realised
Oh yeah,
the second thing I looked at was what you were fishing for me to have a look at. But
yeah.
basically, as I went onto Twitter yesterday, it was you getting like a rapid fire Q&A. I'm assuming from Eve.
It was from my sister. Yeah. Do you watch
Yeah,
that?
so I just saw you sat there, and I was like, "Hello, he's starting to that bum fluff starting to take some shape."
Yeah, I know. It's actually it's strong now. It's strong. Like it's I think it's here to stay. To be honest, I think it's part of my transition to adulthood. I'm gonna call it that.
I'm literally at the point like today where I'm like, right, I'm overgrown. I need to shave, and then there's that little voice in the back of my head that just goes like, "Well, do you? Do you just let it go?"
Yeah. What's the point?
Do you know what
No one's
I mean?
watching.
No,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, do I just go with it now and turn it into a project? I'm not going to be one of these goons that just goes like, oh, I'm going to have a skinhead just because it's coronavirus.
Yeah. Neither. I hate
Like,
that. I hate that.
what are you doing? For me, sign of mental weakness. You're already going mad enough that you need to do something extreme like that.
I agree. I agree. And the thing is, we've only just nearly finished week 2. So oh my god, I can't wait for week 6.
I mean, I get the whole like, oh, I've never done it, so I'll have a skinhead, and then by the time I'm back out in normal life, it will have grown back. But it's like, all right. I mean, having said that, you could be worse. You could end up just turning into a yeti, like I'm going to do. So.
I hope not. Well, it could be interesting, to be fair. But we'll see. Well, I'm glad everyone's still alive in the podcast team, backroom staff, and everything. Yeah.
Should we press on?
Yeah, well, let's press on. Well, following on from our pattern of like a fun one and a serious one about this wonderful game of real tennis, this one's going to be a bit more fun. So we're going to talk about signature shots, aren't we? Everyone's got a signature shot. And yeah, some are more recognisable than others. I mean, basically, this stems from what we were talking about the other day. Like when we were practicing, it's probably mainly me, but let's say if you hit a certain shot in real tennis, I don't know what it would be, and then you shout like, "Oh, like Rob Fay, great shot!" Oh, that's what Rob would do. Which sounds incredibly tragic. However, sort of you have to be there to know what I'm on about. But yeah, there are certain shots which you sort of you identify with other people, aren't there?
Oh, I mean, just loads. Like I've got one that is actually has like evolved into like, so this particular shot started as one person's like signature.
Yeah.
And now it's evolved through two people. So like this particular shot is not something I associate with the first person anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like it's quite a good one actually.
That's quite cool. I have no idea what you're going to say.
So basically, there's always a bit of a running joke that like if somebody just hits like some really floaty ball into the grill, whose name do you shout out?
Oh, Tom Jurek.
Tom Jurek, exactly. Yeah. You kind of, you just kind of get Jurek have these balls and he just like float them into the grill. And every time I kind of hit with Bryn, like I managed to hit the grill spawnily, which I mean it's never deliberate, so it's always with a bit of spawn. He's always just like Durek from the other side of the net.
Yeah.
Which is very funny, and obviously, for the purposes of this podcast, this is going to be much more entertaining for us than for other people, I'm sure.
But, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that then you can gravitate that shot on because somebody, so Bryn himself, would take the same ball, but he would kind of like dig a ball out from the forehand corner and like lob it into the grill. But like with Jurek would do it when he had easy-ish balls. Bryn used to do it with tough balls. So personally for me, I gravitated the Jurek, or I think the Jurek morphed into the Sayers.
Really? Because it is recognisable. Honestly, that grill where you just hit a backhand and it's like, oh, it's gone in the grill. Like it's not. it is just hit. It is his shot. Do you know what I mean?
No,
it's
this
like
is forehand corner. This
is
really? Forehand corner. Yeah. Well, right-handers forehand. Yeah.
Oh, got you.
And then I think like the thing is, if you then gravitate that on one step further, because obviously Bryn isn't on the tournament scene as much as he used to be. I think for me that shot changed hands in the 2016 World Championship, where like so literally it's that for me it's the Camden.
Really?
If you absolutely like, well, he's the cyborg retriever, isn't he?
Yeah, yes, he is. Yeah.
The better the cut volley I hit in against that guy, the more chance I feel like it's got of ending up in the grill.
I agree with that. Yeah, he tends to hit some hard balls like main wall grill or whatever.
You just
like
and if you just go back. Tell you what, everybody's got a lot of free time on their hands, so. The first thing I'd recommend is you go back and listen to all the podcasts because they're all hilarious.
Yeah, for a start, the amount of free time I think people have is reflected in that we're just getting suggestions to the podcast. It's like, wow.
Yeah, exactly, which is good. At least people are engaging. If you've got not much time, if you've got lots of free time, you don't know what to do with it, go and watch the 2016 World Championships in Newport and watch how many good shots Rob hits into Camden's backhand that end up in the grill.
Yeah, it's a lot. Main wall grill.
And then if you're a massive Rob Fay fan and you don't like to see that, then immediately afterwards just watch the 2018 World Championship and you'll be fine again.
Yeah, because Cam will just be picking him out the den on, unfortunately.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that lob grill, honestly, it's like not many people do it, but for me, it's just Durek. I've seen it a lot. Right, other shots. I think. Well, you mentioned Bryn, like his two-hander, like I think on a slightly more sort of attractive level. I think his two-hander, which he sort of whips like Maymul Tamba. What?
Sorry, on a slightly more attractive level.
Well, yeah, it's a bit more
Um,
aesthetically pleasing. This
sorry,
one.
carry on.
That two-hander which he's got, where he just
Go on,
sort of
go on.
whips it like Maymul Tamba or to the base of the Tamba. I think he does that better than a lot of people.
He does. I tell you what, he does just slap base of timbre.
Yeah,
Like
he's really good at doing that with
the
two hands.
amount of times he gets like an easy ball, and then you just suddenly see this thing like basically hit timbre nick and just roll out in front of you.
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
hit you in the foot. You're like, oh,
That's one
Christ,
that's one I'd associate with Bryn. Obviously his two-hander's a major weapon. You could link that two-hander to maybe Lumley's two-hander. That's a bit of a machine gun.
the baseball bat,
Yeah, it actually is. It actually is. Just teeing off.
the Lumley home run,
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, left-handed hitter. Other ones.
switch hitter. All
Well,
right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's start off with a few. Let's start off with the entertaining ones,
yeah,
and
good.
then let's obviously make it more serious as we gravitate towards like the latter part of the.
I agree.
So let's keep it light-hearted.
Well,
The first one I can think of is the Adam Phillips.
oh, just any boast of back wall boast. No, backhand boast. Sorry, into the main wall.
There's two
Defending the
Adam
grill.
Phillips shots, and basically this is exactly. I'm going to say a name, and you're going to try and give me
The shot.
the shot.
Mate,
So Adam Phillips has got two, and you'll reckon. Yeah. So the first one is quite obviously
playing doubles.
any doubles ball, and you've got a back. Anything you like. Like the ball's just there. You can try and hit a volley towards the gallery guy. You can try and pull it in front of the gallery guy. You can go between them into the backhand corner. You can just stab it back down the line and take your medicine. No. Every single ball boasted into that tambour wall and just try and create as much carnage as possible.
And like apparently he used to make noises, didn't he? He was like, ugh, every single time.
There's a full grunt with every contact. Yeah.
I quite like that.
It gives the whole thing a lot more substance.
What's the other Adam Phillips one? I don't know the other one.
The Adam Phillips also, which I think is much more entertaining, sometimes gets a grunt as well.
Go on.
Is the Adam Phillips feed.
Oh yeah, the most heavily cut feed ever. It's absolutely rich. Yeah.
I remember the two people that spring to mind, like who I've knocked up with, where I'm just like, oh my god, this is genuinely tough. Like, straight off the bat.
I know. I remember
like, Adam Phillips just ripping forehand cut shots, like literally, like he feeds it out of his hand, and you're waiting for this thing to fuzzball and bounce over your head.
I remember doing like a deadness day, and he was coaching at Lords, and he was like feeding him down to my backhand, and I was like, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this before. Like he was absolutely ripping it.
Absolutely incredible. I'll tell you what, if you want someone to like, if anybody's ever looking to work on, like, obviously we're talking about like a relatively advanced level, looking at working on retrieving like a cut volley, so practicing like I call it the third ball,
yes,
the third shot of the rally, which is just from the service end the most crucial shot of the rally. But we can talk about that in a different podcast. If you ever want to work on that ball, go to Hollyport and just have an hour with Adam Phillips. Even if you don't ask him for any knowledge on how to deal with it, he will have that cut volley feed on point every single time.
Yeah.
And you'll just be shoveling this thing off the main wall like every single time.
It must have been so good to watch him play like National League, like just giving it everything back in the day.
I played him once. He beat me 4-4, and he was just living it. He took every last drop of intensity on that court. Just absorbed all of it.
Just like he's like playing football, like a football fan.
Yeah. Exactly. I'll tell you the other person who I found really, really tough to knock up with was Mark Senior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if he was feeding to you, he basically just like nonchalant, just French, just literally just hit it, like, but would hit it quite hard.
Yeah.
So he'd suddenly just hit this like flat ball, and you're like, Jesus, I've got this ball like leaping up at my like midsection.
Yeah.
So that was tough.
Right, other shots.
You got 1 out of 2 with Adam Phillips.
Yeah.
What's the Chris Chapman?
Oh, right, okay. There's a few I've got in mind. Probably like a gallery, maybe like ripped gallery.
Exactly, mate. I've got it written down here. Chapman cut gallery.
Yeah, it
This
goes
guy
in.
doesn't. He doesn't just put the ball into the galleries. He's putting it through the galleries with a load of cut. I'm thinking, God, what? Every time like I see him do it, I'm like, oh, what a waste of string.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I see. He rips it. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
And obviously, we're just poking a bit of fun here. But from a tactical sense, he's obviously thinking like, if I miss the gallery low, at least I'm hitting a shot with
A
something
decent,
on it.
yeah,
So
with some pace. Yeah, I agree.
get it. I get it. It's just quite fun when it does go into the gallery like mid-high or just like shaves the bottom of the band though, and it's just gone in there at 500 miles an hour with like loads of work on it.
Yeah, I agree. He loves a boast as well. I think there's some boast which should be like, oh, Chappers.
That's come out. That there's been more of that. I think last couple of years.
I agree. There's a lot of variety in the game. I think that's why it lends itself maybe to signature shots, just because there is that much variety.
Yeah, I think Chappers has brought a lot more boasting into his game in the last couple of years.
I agree.
Oh, by the way, just very quickly on a tangent. Did anybody see Craig Greenhouse's Real Tennis Football 11 on Twitter or Facebook the other day?
I did. I'll speak to the production. No, there's no one else here. Yeah, just me. I saw it. Let us know if you did.
I'm compiling a different 11.
Oh yeah, what another a real tennis team to play his team?
A real tennis team to play his team. But the problem is, there was a few of us having a bit of a chat on like WhatsApp the other day, and people are like chucking in their suggestions, and I'm like, no, stop, because I've got like a couple of these I've already got, but obviously I can't use them now because I don't want someone to feel like they're taking the credit. So I just need to let it die down for a few days and then potentially release like an 11. I've got 4 so far.
Nice. Marker Pen Senior.
Marker Pen Senior. Wait, what's it? Marker Pen
Hobbs, I don't know.
Hobbs. Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Anyway, that's a bad one.
I'll bear that one in mind. Just in case people think we're having a bit of a poke at people here, I have a signature shot.
I think yours, right. I'd say yours. Well, I was thinking about on this walk that, a ball that goes into the main wall and goes towards your backhand, that volley after it hits the main wall, cross court. I think that's one of your best shots.
Oh, that's a very generous thing. I was actually going to mock myself, but
well, what's your signature shot?
Well, this is also a Chapper's signature shot, and we always laugh about it together when we're practicing.
Yeah.
If you've hit like a good shot, you're at the hazard end, you've hit a good shot into the corner. They've retrieved it back, and you've got a ball which has hit the back wall on the full.
Yeah.
And you just think like, oh, I'm not going to force this, or it's a little bit lower, or something like that. But you can still absolutely, rip this thing into the corner.
Yeah.
Chappers and I turn inside, hit a forehand, inside out net every time.
Yeah, you do that a lot. It's weird.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I just hit flat. Yeah, fair. I just remember hitting. I played a National League game at Cambridge once, and Craig was on commentary. And again, that shot I was describing, that main wall, and backhand volley cross court using the angle, and I hit it. And then I watched the replay back, and Craig was like, "That's a very Taylor Matthews-esque shot." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess it is."
I love that shot.
It is a good one. Well, one signature shot which we always draw upon, which a lot of people won't have seen, is the Nick Wood. What's the Nick Wood, Ben?
That's in there. So the Nick Wood is a good shot.
Yeah, I agree.
The Nick Wood is just being able to find like some incredible width where you just don't know how you do it. So a prime example of a Nick Wood is when you're at the hazard end and you've got a kind of ball in the grill corner and you go cross court and somehow you manage to hit like the battery wall underneath the galleries, but not around 5-6 last gallery where the ball's kind of ending up in the corner. You're pulling this thing into like the door territory, but somehow managing to get it over the net, but not but under the gallery. I've explained that well.
Why do you used to hit it there? Like, surely that's quite easy to get back because it's just going to come straight into the middle.
Yeah, but if it's up at like the door,
yeah, it's quite short.
It's short. Like if you're going to be up at it's going to be in the middle of the court, but you're going to be up at like worse than last to hit it.
Yeah, I'm sure
so
it was a good
shot. The Nick Wood is just being able to hit like an extreme width out of nowhere, really. You could have the same thing from the service end, I guess, if you're trying to hit like a gallery or something. And
I agree.
Pull it into. But it's just one of those. It's one of those things that you're not trying to do it necessarily, but if we're rallying or something, and one of us pulls the ball into the battery wall like really short on the court, like at the end of the rally, one of us will kind of like shout like, "Oh, Woody," or something like that.
For me, it's mainly on the volley. It's on the backhand volley. If you manage to pull it that short, like how have I done that? Like,
that's when Nick was just so good. He could do it on floor shots.
That's so sick. He used to bang a lot of nicks, didn't he, as well, Nick? Oh, that's so...
love like a cross court roll.
I agree.
All right, what's your signature shot?
I used to have one, but it's sort of gone out of my game. I don't really use it anymore. I used to have this like faded down the line dead on off the serve, but I just don't really hit it anymore, which is a shame. That used to be it, but I don't know. Yeah, I like a sort of slow dead on, which is held, a good hold. So probably from the
a Mark Devine.
Yeah, genuinely, I like a slow dead on, but just right in the corner, like a good penalty. I'd like that. Really slow.
Keep it the wrong way.
Yeah, I think that's probably where like people get this perception I can't hit very hard because it's just all about placement and hold. So I'd say that one actually probably slow down on.
All right. So would you like to know what your actual signature shot is?
Go on then.
The Robert Schenkman actual signature shot is hitting a ball into second gallery when you're going for last.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't aim for it. I don't aim for it anyway. I can hit a lot of galleries.
The Robert Schenkman is you trying to like beat me into the backhand corner and somehow just pulling it into second gallery all the time.
Yeah, I don't know why that. I don't know why that is.
Because it never even goes into last. It's always second.
Yeah, that is true. I do have like a way of just quite often in matches I'll just give up on hitting the floor and just hit galleries like because nothing happens. It's a weird one, yeah. It's not the most positive signature shot, and it's definitely not the chapper's ripped in. It goes in like backwards, but
it basically starts life on the penthouse and then manages to just like dip in time to make it into the galleries.
Yeah, that is true. It does go in a lot off every ball, floor, back wall, and stuff. One of the signature shot. Oh, yeah, go on.
Go on. I was just going to say, imagine if that was a tiny bit lower, then you'd be pulling off the wood.
Maybe not. Maybe too far up court for that. Nick Wood was more like chase the door, wasn't he? Like back, side wall. Mine's like middle of second gallery. It's quite a standard angle.
Exactly. Can I just ask you about a signature shot?
Go on.
What is known in the trade as a Freddy? You shout that out quite a lot. Are you talking about like Freddie Calfine, Freddie Dixon, or something like that?
Mate, I can't actually. You're joking. I can't actually. Mate, I can't explain that.
Is this not the right place to make that description?
Well, describing a shot is why would I shout Freddie as in Freddie Mercury? No, I'm not going into that.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, nice one. You baited me out.
Right, come on then. Over to you. What have you got? Who have you got in mind?
I think like some nicks from weird places, just like shot cam. It's a big one. I remember playing a National League game. Chappers was watching, and I remember I hit like a nick to beat Chase 6, and he was like, "Oh, shot cam," because Cam just finds a way, doesn't he? Just rolls nicks every time. Bang, bang, bang.
Nicks from everywhere. I mean, fair play to him. Some of them are deliberate, but Jesus, the amount of balls that just end up in that nick. You're on top in a rally, and just this thing frames into the nick, and you're like, okay, that's another point down. Good.
There's got to be one more signature shot, which is like glaring, which we were just not mentioning. There's got to be like an obvious one. Oh, we've obviously talked about return to service.
What kind of amazing shots have you seen in your time?
Well, like
obviously, because the real tennis court obviously lends itself to some crazy stuff. Like I remember hearing a rumor once. I think it was Rob, obviously, shocked. Heard a rumour that somebody hit like a ball that went on the penthouse that was coming down like fairly flush with the back wall. So at Leamington we call that the Compton.
Yeah, that's true.
And Rob apparently hit a backhand back wall boast that went over the net and then bounced into the grill.
What?
So I've heard. I doubt. I mean,
that's dubious.
I'd like to get some clarification
Was he? Was he? The only place he could do it would be Oxford.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I haven't really thought about that. Yeah, I mean, I'm doubting the one bounce grill on the backhand there, if I'm honest.
Surely it would have backspin on it, so it just couldn't bounce forwards anyway.
Well, I don't know.
I think signature. I mean, playing what with Steve, some of the flair he used to come out with was fairly ridiculous. Like timbre volley back into the main wall, dead on. It's like, oh wow, fair play, mate. That's a good shot.
Well, we were talking about that the other day, or last time, weren't we? It's just
Yeah.
like absolutely savage. Camden hits like the kind of tickler, particularly on return of serve.
That's true.
He serve a good railroad against him, and he just kind of like flick. Well, a tickler, for those who don't know what it is basically like a. I'm guessing. Like, well, how would you describe it? Like
a tickler is
like a really thin boast.
A thin boast, yeah, very thin boast.
That ends up like, but I mean, like, can't emphasise this enough. The word boast implies power.
Yeah.
It's like a very measured.
No, it's a fade, isn't it? It's more of a fade off the side wall.
Exactly. So it just hits the side wall underneath winning gallery and then kind of curls back in and hits the side wall again, like underneath the gallery. So you would have seen him do his trick shot with the cone
in the gallery. Yeah. That's a tickler.
So you end up like taking an advantageous position with a good serve, and you're on the receiving end of something quite tough.
One final signature shot, which I'd like to mention would be Darren's like main wall. No, it's just like that. The pace he hits it, perhaps.
Darren just like.
Or some of his dead-ons.
Just retrieving balls round the backhand corner at the service end, stepping away, racket low, rolling over the top of it. I mean, literally, completely. Every aspect of that shot is at the opposite end of the scale to what you would try and teach somebody to do.
Yeah.
And you just see this ball like just go over your left shoulder into the grill again and again.
Yeah, no, he's like got the ultimate backhand grill. I'm trying to think if there's anyone in the States
on bouncy courts.
I know, yeah, it works.
Barney Tanfield, the backhand force. Wow.
Yes, quick backhand force. That
wow.
That is impressive. Not many people have got like a genuine backhand hit, but if they've got it, like wow.
Yeah. I tell you, like Chappers absolutely leathers his backhand, but the thing is, it generally either goes into the net or like so far up above the dead on it almost goes out, and he won't mind me saying that because I'm just poking a bit of fun. But Barney just like relentlessly just levers this.
Yeah, having a backhand force is so sick.
Shot, isn't it?
Yeah, having a backhand force is actually so sick. But there we go. I've seen this shot. I mean, we've definitely missed a few. I think if there's anyone on Twitter who's listened, who you can think of a signature shot which you like, please reply. We've been getting some really good feedback on Twitter actually recently, which has been great actually.
Well, obviously you can comment. You know, the videos are all up on YouTube now, so you can like comment on the video and stuff, and we're more than happy to engage.
Yeah, that's actually so true. You can
there is a comment section underneath the videos.
Yeah, just give us abuse on the video.
Please do. I can't wait to respond to a few trolls.
Or if you think you've got a signature shot, and don't be self-deprecating. Like if you think you've actually got like a good shot, which you do a lot, which a lot of people do, just say. I mean,
I'll tell you who I want to hear from on that. I want to hear from the Silver Card man, George Fowler. What have you got?
Oh my god, Jesus!
What have you got?
I don't know if he listens to this.
We'll find out. Will you get a comment or we won't?
I actually unfriended him on Facebook because his posts were annoying. Anyway, but that is genuinely that is the signature shots for this week. We definitely gonna finish this and then forget we've mentioned one.
I know. Well, what we'll have to do before the next one. Is if anything pops into our mind, we'll have to just write it down, and we'll have to start the next one with a quick like apologies to the people that we forgot, and then just quickly read them off before we obviously talk about something meaningful. We've got a good one next time actually.
We gave Steve a mention anyway. That's all that matters.
That's all he's worried about.
Yeah, exactly. Right, well, we're going to move on to the Cyborg now, and this week we're going to do an intangible aspect of the game, which is mentality. Which can sort of is it mentality? Yeah, mentality, not tactics. Mentality.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it encompasses everything because I think that. So for how I've taken that away for like the last few days to think about is it encompasses like mentality and tactical knowledge and thinking about the game and figuring stuff out. Because, I mean, ultimately, who are we to determine who has a good and a bad mental state? I mean, some people stick out in either direction, but it's not for us to start having a crack at people's mental state. So for me, I've thought a lot more about like tactics. Someone's mental state is not visible. So what I've gone for is like general kind of mentality, tactical like nous, and just general all round grit and desire.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
That's how I've gone into it.
Yeah, no, I'd interpret that as well, because that's at least something you can see on court, whereas mental state you can't really see. That is very much subjective.
Exactly, and at the end of the day, all we'll end up doing is, because if you turn around and say to somebody and have a bit of a laugh and a joke at somebody's technique, we're having a bit of a laugh at like Darren's backhand, but ultimately it gets results because he goes in the grill.
Yeah.
Things like that, just having a bit of a general poke. I think if you start having a prodding at someone's like mental state or or their like desire, I think that that's potentially a bit personal. So
exactly, that'll decrease listeners to the podcast.
I'm not into like having a poke at someone's mental condition. So
I'm going to open up with Chris Bray. Apparently he had like massive balls. Apparently.
Do you know what? That is incredible because he's on my list.
Chris Bray apparently was just mega, just desire, just wanted it.
Yeah, just got out there and you just got. Apparently, I mean, so I only saw Chris play definitely once at the top. So I was very, very lucky when I started at Bridport. Not long after that, there was a. In fact, I started in 2001 in October.
Yeah.
So the 2002 World Championship Eliminators, Chris was in and I went to watch one of them. So that would have been 6 months after I started, if that, not even that, 4 months. And I watched Chris against Tim at Chris's choice of home venue. So he worked at Petworth at the time, but he selected Seacourt. And I was lucky enough to go and get a ticket to go and watch that. And yeah, I mean, Chris had apparently, I don't think I played for 4 months, so I couldn't possibly remember or have any knowledge on the subject, but apparently like Chris was just very good at just going like, right, this is my style, this is what I do. Not necessarily the most like classical or dare I say it like aesthetically pleasing, but he would just be like, this is what I do, I'm going to pump my forehand in. And just somebody that walked on court and just knew exactly what he would do in every situation.
Yeah, that's quite a good trait, to be fair. I remember,
which is exactly. I say that to people all the time. Like you've basically got in any situation, you've got a list of options. And what I do with like Chris is I just, because he's still kind of figure out what kind of type of player he wants to be, and I'm like, right, in this situation, what are the options? And he kind of gives you about 3 or 4, and I'm like, no, what are all of the options? Let's find out what all of them are.
Yeah.
No matter how ridiculous, then you can filter some out and just say that's just stupid. And then you're left with a group of options. You're like, right, which are you good at? Which ones do you want to have? And which ones do you think tactically are the best? And you can end up filtering with those 3 like things, and you should end up with 2.
Yeah, that's so true. I think you just got to know what you're about, really, when it comes to mentality.
Exactly what Chris was very good at. Just going on and go, right, this is what I do in this situation, and I've got this as a backup.
Yeah.
This is what I do in this situation, and I've got this as a backup. And never had to think about it. Do you know what I mean? It was just autopilot. Because he was like, it's the same thing as watching like a Julian Snow.
Yeah.
There is no like, plan. Oh, maybe I should do this or something like that, or someone who I think does it very well in this day and age is Jamie Giddens.
Yeah, that's so true. That's true, actually. Slightly
just walks
below
on court and
just
level. Goes, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to waver from the game plan. I'm not going to get tempted. Just basically a show of very, very, very good discipline.
I agree. You know what you're about, but to be fair, it's consistent, isn't it? With regard to Chris Bray, I remember being on a night out at uni and was just chatting to these blokes, and someone obviously mentioned that I played real tennis, and this guy went, "Oh, like, have you ever heard of Chris Bray?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know Chris." Like,
no way.
Basically, he went, "Oh, I went to school with his son called Harrison," and I was
Harry Bray.
And I was like, Mate, Chris Bray honestly had. I was obviously like a bit pissed at this point, and I was just like, mate, Chris Bray just had the best mentality. Like he was just so tough to beat. Like, and obviously I'm just chatting this absolute breeze, just accumulating what I've heard about him, having never watched him play. And I just remember telling this bloke who obviously like knew Chris Bray's son. Oh mate, his dad was so good. Like he's just wanted to win so much. Yeah, that's what I remember
I
about
love
it.
that. That is what I absolutely love about the world. You're in like the SU bar in 2019, 5 Smirnoff Ices
It
in,
was like
talking,
2017, genuinely, yeah.
talking to some random guy about Chris Bray.
Honestly, like that is 100% true. Like
That is brilliant.
it was, yeah, but yeah. So ever since then, yeah.
I'd be very because so I went and did a couple of days. I did like a week's work at Petworth when Chris was there. Like Tom
Did you?
Jurek and I did a bit of a swap, and I stayed with Chris, who lived in Woking at the time.
Nice.
And I'll be interested, and like I used to play a bit of like play a couple of computer games with like Harry in the evening, and I always used to have to let him win. So he was that age.
Yeah.
So did this mate of yours or the guy you met? Did he go to school with him at like primary or secondary school? I'm trying to like gauge how.
This is college. This is college. So he's a year younger than me. I think he must be a
Oh
year
my
younger.
god! So we're saying Chris Bray's son is like in his 20s now.
Yeah, he'll be like 22.
Oh my god!
21,
Right.
22.
Okay.
But anyway, it was quite a
Wow.
good story. I was like, fair. Right, other mentality people.
So I had a chat with somebody, a kind of a past legend of the game.
Ooh.
And they actually contacted me, which was fantastic, and said, I'm trying to find the text, here we go. But this was on Monday. He said, who did you select for the mentality? By that, I assume you mean temperament. And I basically said, this is what I thought. And I said, some people are obviously people that know about the top guys, you can see whether they're playing with like just outright talent.
Yeah.
Someone like a James Stout.
Yeah, so true.
Just like wouldn't give a crap about tactics or anything like that. Would just be like, I've got amazing hands and I read the ball like an absolute book. So
yeah,
I'm going to just do my thing. And then you've got people who aren't necessarily as naturally gifted, but are just very, very well trained and disciplined. Somebody like myself, I would say.
Yeah.
And this person said, you'd be best placed to judge the current players. The hard man from the previous era was without doubt Howard Angus.
Howard? Well, yeah, interesting. I think there's...
Apparently tough, gritty, and you always knew. He didn't even use the word battle. He used the word war.
Fair, mate. I mean, you get that a lot with amateurs. I think someone said that to me once. I mean, not that I really care about it, but someone said that like amateurs, to a certain extent, back in the day, would want it more than pros, perhaps. I think that's an incredibly contentious statement, but you can understand why Howard, obviously, as someone who'd work all week and then like he's devoting all this time to practicing, you can see why he'd have that mentality because it's literally like, well, yeah, real tennis is his thing. You can see why he'd want it.
The difference between like a pro and an amateur is obviously, well, the definition is money. A pro is generally working in real tennis, whereas an amateur is doing it primarily as a hobby. So
I agree.
If an amateur is going to invest their time, like Howard did, driving back from Northampton and practicing 2 hours a row or whatever, and hitting doing 100 court sprints on
and hitting 400 nicks an evening.
Exactly. If you're going to invest your personal time into that, you're going to want it when you get out there, aren't you? Otherwise, you're just going to be like, why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? Generally, if you're not winning, like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, apparently, he was an absolute warrior.
I like that. I can believe it. To be fair, he has his mentality when you talk to him is he doesn't want to stop. He would have been relentless.
And a massive student of the game.
I agree.
I mean, obviously, if there's one thing that you would associate Howard Angus with, it's talking, right?
Yeah.
And he will talk and talk and talk and talk, and sometimes you don't feel like you can get away, but ultimately it's because even at his age, he loves it.
That's so true. I've got a lot of time for that, to be fair.
He will, he loves the game. He loves talking about stuff, and he comes and he still loves to learn about it. Like he'll come up to me, not that I'm a guru by any stretch, and he'll just say, "Tell me, Ben, like in the current era, in this situation, people tend to like play this kind of shot, whereas in my day it was this. Like, do you know why that's the case and stuff like that. He's just genuinely keen to learn about all aspects of tennis in every era. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's so sick.
I would love for him to like write a book.
He probably already has. We're probably already writing it. He's 900 pages in.
I feel bad. I'd feel bad if he's got like a whole encyclopedia of real tennis books out, and I've just said, "Oh, you should write a book."
I think he's right. I think he's doing a podcast, but it's still recording.
No.
It's 500 hours.
Fantastic.
But
I'll tell you, like in a modern day, in terms of tactics, and like a great thinker of like how to figure out certain situations and to, having answers to questions, as it were, and trying to actively having like a problem, like a mathematical problem in front of them.
Yeah.
And trying to think about ways to solve that problem is like Rob.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah.
The amount of hours I've spent on court with Rob where we've just discussed stuff and not really hit that many balls, but just talked about things, and you just kind of go away and go, yeah, that makes so much sense. Like that guy really knows what he's talking about.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? I think
Rob's
mentality is pretty good.
You can still see him like walk on court and just sometimes he'll just walk on court and go, right, I'm just going at like outright flair today. Just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But like if he really wants to get out there and he's got like his mind is an absolute like Bible of real tennis information.
Have you read the article in The Guardian yet?
I was just about to say things like that. Like he even says to himself, like as I moved into my 30s and stuff, 30s and 40s, I had to think a lot more tactically, and he has. Like honestly, like it seems so cliche and obvious to say because he's the world champion and obviously has won more world championships than anybody else. It's like, oh yeah, he's the best tactician I've ever come across. But like he really is. Like I've spent so many hours chatting to him, sober and non-sober, about real tennis. Is amazing.
Yeah. Ironically, I actually just got.
I mean, he needs to get a mention.
I just got a message from a girl at uni with the picture of that article saying real tennis. So that's what brought that up. So indeed. Who else mentality's got?
I've got one more person.
Go on.
Hit me. I just want to know if you. I've contributed a lot to this, so I'm just. Have you got anybody? Anybody in mind?
Chris was my main one. I just anecdotally, I think currently maybe mentality tactics. I don't know. Was Matt Ronaldson any good, like tactics wise?
Thought he was.
I just remember, like, I don't know, hearing about anecdotes. I did a deadness session on tactics with him. Thought he had quite a lot of ideas.
The thing is, this whole real tennis cyborg thing is ultimately a bit of a waste of time because Matt Ronaldson would be the ultimate real tennis player. So he's got every aspect of the cyborg covered.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we're wasting everybody's time because Matt Ronaldson's the best at everything. There you go.
Fair enough.
And that's the end of the podcast. That's been fun.
Oh, no, yeah, there's not a lot of mileage in it. Right, who's your last person?
I tell you what, for just absolute sheer grit and dogged determination, I'm throwing my best man in, Bryn Sayers.
Yeah, one of the king of the comeback.
Well, I mean, the guy will just walk on court and he won't give you anything. If you put him in the same kind of breath as like Steve Agona, but in a different sense, like Steve will always give you his best tennis on the day. He doesn't care if it's a US Open final against Cam or it's a first round match against Jed Parsons. He is going to easily just like seek and destroy.
Seek and destroy.
So you know that you're always, if you beat Steve or whatever, you've beaten Steve. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like Bryn. You know that if you walk on court with him, same thing I guess is with what the person was saying about Howard Angus.
Yeah.
You know that he's not going to give you anything. Like you are absolutely in a war. And I remember playing him in Melbourne in a Aussie Open semi-final.
You beat him.
Yeah, I was 4-1 up in the. I think it was 5 sets, or 4 sets.
Yeah.
I remember having like a purple patch, and just everything seemed to work, and I was basically just like really on top. I felt like I was murdering him. And you just have to keep saying to yourself, like, it just does not matter. The scoreline is irrelevant until you cross that finish line, because he's always in it. He's always in it. Well, there's the famous story about Rob and him at the British Open, right? Wasn't Rob like 6-2, 6-1, 5-1 up or something?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. And then Bryn saved like 4 match points, including one which was chase 2, and he hit like 3 main walls, which were all going in, one went in. It's just mega.
And then 1 in 5.
It's so sick, that, honestly. That's just like, it's like dreamland.
Like, so that's what I mean in terms of just like sheer grit. And just walking on court and just going, just sending the message out to your opponent, like, you are going to have to literally, like, mow me down with a tank before I step aside and let you beat me today.
Yeah. I agree.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, like, Bryn's got to be up there, I think. Right, let's make a decision on this, because we've named a few people. I think I'm going to vote for Chris Bray. I think apparently he just had massive balls. Rod, I remember Rod saying to me that he just didn't really know when he was beaten. He always wanted to win. I know another story as well. The World Doubles in '09 at Seacourt. He was playing with James Mayle, and apparently that was the only match he ever came into it before the match saying, "I'm not going to win this."
Really?
Yeah. Apparently he was playing like some sick player, I don't know, Robin Steve or something. Yeah, you're not going to win that, Chris. But yeah,
that sounds about right, actually.
But yeah, apparently just
was
always.
Was that 09, the Seacourt World Doubles?
I think so, yeah, because Boston was 07, wasn't it? You were at both.
Yeah, that was my first one. Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense actually, because I played with Rod in Boston, and then we played again at Seacourt.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So we did, we did 2 back to back.
Who's yours then, Ben?
Well, I want to go for Bryn, so I don't really know what we do about this. This is the first time we've had a stalemate.
I'm going to give it to Bryn.
So I don't know what to do.
No, we'll go with Bryn. We'll go with Bryn.
So the stalemate is you're going to step aside.
Yeah.
So you're not going to stand up for yourself and get run down by.
Because I can't really defend Chris Bray as much as I'd love to. I've never watched him play, whereas I have watched Bryn play, and he just never seems to get flustered. Like, I would love to have his like calmness on court. Just always. Yeah, it's just hard to get through him. Really, I always watch Bryn and think he's going to win for some reason.
What's quite good about Bryn as well is you never know whether he's like really happy or livid. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't give you anything either. Like, I remember I've played him a couple of times where he's like not smashed his racket, but he's like smashed the butt of his racket into the wall, and I've been like genuinely shocked. I'm like, oh my god, like he's angry. You know, he's one of those people that just never really shows you what he's thinking. I'll tell you what then. Why don't we give it to Bryn, which will make me so happy.
Good.
Why don't we give it to Bryn? But again, like we've had in these things all the time, just say if it was Chris Bray, we'd both be happy, and on the basis that we are in the era that we're in, and we have physically seen Bryn do it a lot more, and I've only ever seen Chris Bray play once, and you wouldn't have ever seen him play at his best.
No, never.
On the basis that there is just a little bit of there's a lack of knowledge from us. There is ignorance on our part.
Yeah.
Bryn's gonna squeak it on that basis.
I think that's fine. I'm happy with that. Bryn Sayers some mentality. That is honestly a good one to have. What should we do next podcast for the Cyborg?
Well, it's your thing, my man.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, cheers for that. Oh my God, Robert, come on, think. What about?
I'll tell you what we'll do.
Flair.
Flair was what I was thinking.
Good.
Why don't we open it up and see if anybody's got any suggestions? So if anybody's got any suggestions on what they want the next section of the Cyborg to be, comment on the video below,
or just tweet us. It's probably quickest.
Tweet us, or just I'm thinking people are going to be listening. If they're listening to it on YouTube, aren't they?
So mate. When you put this on Facebook, make sure you caption it saying what do you want next featured on the Cyborg, because there'll be someone who comments. Do you know what I mean? Facebook's actually quite a good way of doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I obviously advertise it on Facebook, Twitter,
Yeah.
Instagram. So, yeah, all right. Well, let's leave it open to other people and see what they want
I
to
like that. We will see what happens. And yeah, this podcast actually a lot of people are contributing at the moment. It's really a really nice project to be involved with. Let's hope. Keep telling your mates in real tennis about it. There's not a lot going on. So yeah, let's hope it keeps growing. Episode 9.
And obviously, don't forget to subscribe to the.
Yeah, that's true. Subscribe, like, and share. I feel like an actual YouTuber now. Always wanted to say that. But no, until next time, we'll see you later.